Space, it's one of those luxuries we never seem to have enough about. We yearn for expansive living rooms, tailored suites that don't cling, and flights where our knees don't touch the front seats. It's so desirable that a handful of billionaires are gazing beyond Earth, dreaming of celestial estates on Mars. And here in the world of luxury sedans, BMW's 5 Series, the long bastion of driver-focused excellence, is shifting its gaze to space and luxury. This is the BMW 530, a familiar badge stretched with the Li to accommodate the grand ambitions of comfort and technology. If that sounds familiar, it's because the Mercedes-Benz E-Class has been mastering this game for years, casting a long shadow over its corner of the market. And the question is, will the BMW 5 Series in its long wheelbase avatar outlux the king? Well, let's dig in. The E-Class wears its elegance with an old school charm that feels almost regal. From its elongated silhouette to its poised proportions, the car carries itself like it knows its place at the head of the dining table. Now there are touches borrowed from the flagship S-Class and the EQ-inspired details that modernizes its face, with distinctive tail lamps as well adorning the iconic three-pointed star that leave an impression. Even the shorter doors and the neatly divided quarter glass offer a touch of class reminiscent of Maybach's finest. But the 530 Li doesn't shrink in its company. It's 83 mm longer overall and boasts an 11 mm longer wheelbase than the E-Class. Now, despite sharing similar tire and wheel sizes, the BMW's wheels sometimes appear slightly underdressed, as if the car is a runner and has forgotten its running shoes. Still, when equipped with an M Sport package, the athletic lines and the sharp details speak of its intent. Subtle bronze accents, which can be switched for silver, are a modern flourish, though my preference leans towards the sleek black ones found on the i5. And for the keyboard warriors of social media, let me remind you that this isn't the first 5 Series generation to shake things up, because the revered E39 series left behind BMW's iconic shark nose design and was replaced by the Bangle E60, which a certain Top Gear presenter who was tall and fat called as an eyesore. But even a decade later, the E60 is simply legendary.
Step inside the V214 E-Class and you're greeted by a theatrical sweep of super screen that looks like it's been plucked straight from a sci-fi blockbuster. With a 12.3-inch driver's display and a 14.4-inch central touchscreen with an additional passenger's display integrated under a glass sheet, it's simply stunning. But all that glass has its downside. There are fingerprints, dust, and a little glare that can distract you from the road ahead. Quality, it's palpable. The cabin is a combination of polished wood inlays and soft touch materials, exuding an atmosphere that whispers luxury. The Burmester 4D audio system, intricate ambient lighting, and even seat-mounted sound exciters pull you into a multi-sensory experience. Meanwhile, BMW's iDrive 8 system anchors its minimalist dashboard. The 14.9-inch curved display pairs with a 12.3-inch driver screen, offering a crisp, intuitive interface. Though the cabin driver-first ethos might leave some rear seat aficionados wanting. Well, material quality, it's top shelf without a question, but the E-Class just edges it with a more indulgent feel. Oddly, for all its gadgetry, Mercedes overlooks ventilated seats, something even the newer C-Class remembers. But BMW does not miss this trick, adding practicality to its luxurious space with 665-watt Bowers and Wilkins system that feels intimate if less theatrical than the Merc's Burmester. This is where the battle tilts sharply. The E-Class is carefully crafted for those who prefer to be chauffeured. Reclining rear seats, adjustable thigh support, and electric blinds that cocoon you from the world outside. Every detail whispers comfort and opulence. Even the controls for the front passenger seats are accessible from the back, allowing the ultimate stretch for your legs. It's the rear seat experience that echoes the luxury of Mercedes' flagship models, trimmed down but no less indulgent. The 530 Li doesn't match this level of rear seat grandeur. Yes, it offers ample legroom with neck pillows that soften the edge for long journeys, but some details fall short. The aftermarket blinds feel like an afterthought compared to the E-Class's integrated ones, and while there's comfort aplenty, the focus skews subtly towards the front seats, which doesn't betray BMW's enduring commitment to driver-centric design, but maybe the long wheelbase does. For a chauffeured life, the E-Class is simply more polished. The 5 Series does its best balancing space with a touch of athleticism, but in a direct comparison, the Mercedes edges ahead, offering a slice of luxury that makes you forget the road outside.
Now let's get down to the brass tacks. The BMW, the 530 Li, brings in 254 brake horsepower and 400 Newton meters to the table, with a mild hybrid system that lends an extra bit of verve. The E-Class trails with 201 brake horsepower and 320 Newton meters on paper, which makes it quite clear that the BMW promises more thrust. And on the road, the difference is tangible. The 5 Series surges forward with a refined get-go that makes overtaking feel effortless, all while delivering a discreet soundtrack that builds up in sport mode. The E-Class isn't trying to play this game. It delivers its power with a graceful wave rather than a punch, content in the knowledge that its audience prefers to be wafted rather than flung around. And it's polished, but enthusiasts behind the wheel might feel it fails just short of engaging. On the surface, both cars glide over potholes and undulating roads with a confidence that belies their size. The 5 Series is particularly adept at cushioning low speed bumps with the finesse of a practiced gymnast. The E-Class, while incredibly composed, feels marginally firmer when compared side by side. Now, it's not a biggie, but it's noticeable if you're swapping seats on the same stretch of tarmac. Handling, though, is where things take a twist. The E-Class feels tighter, though, through the corners with minimal body roll and a lightness to its steering that invites relaxed cruising. The 5 Series, in contrast, shows a touch more roll but rewards with crisper feedback and an eagerness that hints BMW hasn't lost its way with chassis tuning. Despite its stretch, this is still a car that corners like it's flexing muscles. Now to the numbers. The BMW 5 Series starts at Rs 72.9 lakh, a good leap below the E-Class's 78.5 lakh tag. A 5.6 lakh difference might sound enough for a decent holiday in the Maldives, but money isn't a deal breaker at this level. And the funny story? The E-Class offers a diesel and even a fiery AMG 450 variant with 6 cylinders, while the 530 Li stands as the lone fossil fuel option except for the electric i5, which is rather lovely in its own right. And while the BMW cash register has been ringing with its flagships like the i7 and the iX offerings, it brings me to the big question. Has BMW managed to knock Mercedes off its plush, leather-scented pedestal? The answer is not quite. It's closer than ever, but the E-Class holds its throne with an indulgent cabin and a chauffeured luxury that simply hits the mark at this price point, offering a better value for money product proposition that is for its intended customers. Ultimately, it boils down to your philosophy of luxury. Are you the type to savor the drive from the front seat or unwind in the back, leafing through the latest issue of The Economist as the world rolls by? Let me know in the comments below.